Deep in the jungle, where every sound hides a story and every shadow might hold a surprise, something unexplainable happened. A group of locals heard strange cries coming from the forest edge. They rushed to the clearing only to find a majestic eagle lying helpless on the ground, its wings torn and tattered, its eyes dimming with pain. Its body, normally proud and erect, was now motionless, giving out a silent cry for help. As they drew closer, the men's hearts sank. It was obvious that the great bird wouldn't survive much longer on its own, but beside it, coiled silently like a living shadow, was a large snake. Now this sight, a snake guarding an eagle, was more than puzzling. It was unnerving. At first, their instinct was to drive the snake away, to chase it back into the green abyss from which it came. After all, snakes are known to slither away at the slightest disturbance. So why was this one staying put? Why was it not slithering away? One brave soul stepped forward. Slowly, cautiously, as if approaching a sacred altar, he reached out his hand to lift the injured bird. The snake reacted instantly. It lifted its head, not in a threatening strike, but in a silent demand, a warning without sound. It was clear the snake was not aggressive, but protective. As if understanding their intentions, it allowed them to take the eagle without a fuss, disappearing into the undergrowth as quickly as it had appeared. The men were left with questions. A dying eagle and an inexplicable encounter. The eagle's injuries were severe. Its right wing was twisted at an unnatural angle, and blood stained its feathers, a stark contrast against its proud golden crown. Its breathing was shallow, and its gaze, usually sharp and penetrating, was clouded with pain. They knew the odds were stacked against the bird. Eagles, symbols of freedom and power in the sky, were graceful creatures whose survival depended on the strength of their wings. Without its ability to fly, the eagle's chances were slim. Their first priority was to get the eagle back to their camp. The journey was fraught with challenges. Every movement sent jolts of pain through the bird, and its cries echoed the torment in its heart. The men moved with the utmost care, their faces etched with determination and empathy. Back at the camp, they set about tending to the eagle's wounds. First, they needed to calm the bird, to soothe its raw nerves and bring some semblance of peace to its tormented soul. Soft murmurs filled the air as they gently stroked the eagle's back, trying to lull it into a state of calm. After the initial shock, they examined the injured wing. The break was clean, but the task of setting it right was daunting. Time was of the essence. If the bone knit incorrectly, the eagle's flying days could be over. The decision was unanimous. They would splint the wing to keep it immobile during the healing process. With makeshift materials, they fashioned a splint, securing it with strips of cloth. It was a simple, rustic solution, but it would have to suffice. Once the splint was in place, they carefully lifted the eagle and placed it in a sheltered spot within the camp. Here, away from prying eyes and potential predators, the eagle could rest, heal, or so they hoped. Over the next few hours, they kept a close watch on the eagle. Its breathing remained shallow, and there were moments when its eyes glazed over, suggesting the pain was becoming too much to bear. Then something unexpected happened. The eagle, with a sudden burst of energy, tried to fly. It flapped its good wing, the wind from its movement ruffling the men's hair, but it couldn't take off. Its injured wing was a heavy anchor, keeping it grounded. It struggled, its cries echoing the turmoil in its soul, the desperation of a creature born to soar, yet bound to the earth by pain and injury. Seeing the eagle's distress, the men felt a surge of determination. They had to do more, to ease the eagle's suffering, to give it a fighting chance. They decided to return the next morning. With dawn came new hope. The men returned to the eagle's makeshift shelter, each step echoing their unspoken worries. The eagle was still there, but its condition was worse. Its breathing was labored, and the once vibrant eyes seemed dull, reflecting the fading light of day. It was clear that if they didn't act fast, the eagle might not make it through the night. Their initial attempts to feed and water the eagle were met with resistance. The bird's throat, likely parched and sore from its ordeal, made swallowing difficult. But the men persisted. They soaked small pieces of meat in water, creating a broth-like consistency that was easier for the eagle to consume. Slowly, with gentle coaxing, the eagle began to eat. It was a small victory, but in the face of such adversity, every small victory mattered. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the camp, the men made a decision. They would spend the night with the eagle, keeping it company, ensuring it wasn't alone in its struggle. They built a fire near the eagle's shelter, the dancing flames providing a sense of warmth and security. The eagle, sensing their presence, seemed to relax a little, its breathing becoming slightly more steady. Throughout the night, they kept a vigil, their faces illuminated by the flickering firelight, their eyes reflecting the intensity of their determination. Just when they thought the night would end without incident, the eagle let out a piercing cry. It arched its neck, its beak open in a silent scream. The men sprang into action. As the first rays of sunlight touched the horizon, the eagle let out another cry, this time stronger, more insistent. It was a sound that spoke of pain, yes, but also of resilience, of a refusal to give up. The men responded to the call. their hearts pounding in unison with the eagle's cries. They knew whatever they did next could be crucial, not just for the eagle's immediate survival, but for its future, its chance to reclaim the skies it called home. In the tapestry of life, where predators and prey often play their parts, the men were witnessing something extraordinary. A snake, an apex predator, was displaying behavior that challenged their understanding of the natural world. It wasn't fear, it wasn't hunger, it was something older, something deeper. The snake's presence was a puzzle, a riddle the men were determined to solve. They decided to observe, to let the snake continue its vigil, but not without ensuring the eagle's well-being. They brought food and water closer to the eagle, hoping the bird would start eating and drinking again. The eagle, as if understanding the gravity of its situation, began to eat and drink. It was a slow process, but each bite, each gulp, brought a flicker of hope to the men's faces. As days turned into nights and nights back into days, the men noticed a pattern in the snake's behavior. Each day the snake would leave the eagle's enclosure, slithering into the dense foliage for what the men assumed were hunting expeditions. Each time the snake returned, it brought back small offerings, dead birds or rodents. It would leave these offerings at the edge of the enclosure, as if presenting them to the eagle. The eagle, too weak to eat, would merely acknowledge the gifts with a nod of its head. The men were perplexed. Was the snake testing the eagle's strength? Was it trying to feed the eagle, or was there something else at play? The truth was, they couldn't be sure. All they could do was watch and wonder. Then one morning, they found something that changed everything. Near the shelter where the eagle was recovering, they found the snake again, watching from a distance, unmoving, just like before. But this time, they also found the remnants of a small rodent, a recent kill. The snake had been bringing back food for the eagle, food it couldn't eat. Not yet. So why? Why was the snake doing this? What was it guarding? Was it protection? Was it respect? Was it something even nature still understands that we have forgotten? The answer, they knew, lay somewhere between instinct and between the primal bond between predator and prey, or perhaps between something even more profound. In the grand narrative of the jungle, where life and death play out in a delicate balance, where survival is a daily challenge and respect for all living beings is a virtue, the men found an enigma. They found a snake that defied expectations, a protector that challenged their understanding of the natural world. The snake, the eagle, and the men became intertwined in a story that was more than just a tale of survival. It was a story of respect, of understanding, and of the interconnectedness of all living things in the intricate web of life. They realized that sometimes in the wild, instincts cross boundaries, and in the face of shared vulnerability, even sworn enemies can find common ground. As the sun set over the jungle, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, they knew they were part of something bigger, a story that was being written in the silent language of nature. They were in the presence of something extraordinary, a testament to the resilience of life and the enduring power of the wild. This was the jungle, and its lessons were as profound as its beauty. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to support us. Your support helps us continue sharing these captivating tales.